Good rising, brethren. This is Big Judah coming to you guys from California. Before I begin, give all praise to the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the Earthly Mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. I pray the Most High blesses this lesson this evening, gives more knowledge and understanding the things of the past, in order to stand events that are currently happening on the earth, so we have a much better understanding of the things that are soon to come on the earth. It was prophesied that we were going to lose our heritage. We were going to lose our identity. When you go to Jeremiah 17 and 4, it says, "And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever." Now, the Most High didn't say we were just going to just forget all on our own. He's using another nation to take away our heritage and gave it to another. See, the Gentile nations have always been at odds with the Hebrews. This has been something that's been, I mean, at times they got together, they worked together, things like that. But most of the time, when you read books, you look at things, there's always some issue between the Israelites and the other nations, because we follow a different power, they follow theirs, we follow ours, and we just don't mesh like that. But see, it was prophesied that we were going to lose our identity. And the Most High used the other nations to do that. And that's why we are in this state today. But now the Most High is making these connections and bringing everything back. Now, see, I'm doing videos over on TikTok, and if you want to find me, you can find me at Big Judah 3, okay, at Big Judah number 3. And I have people around making comments like, "Oh, I'm not on TikTok, so I guess you're not gonna. I'm not gonna. This is how we part, or I'm not able to watch any of your videos." I'm like, I can do both. I said I do some things over there, and I'll expand on them here. So, and that's what we're going to continue, to grow this truth. Most High has moved me to do that, and He's making it so that this truth is getting out to more and more people. So more and more people have the opportunity to see this information and study it out for themselves. So the video I did yesterday, this expands on that whole notion about us being the Moors. And I talked about it, but I can't show them everything that I'm going to be able to show you here. Okay? So this prophecy has already been fulfilled, just like I talked about before. Many of the prophecies that are in the Bible have already taken place. But the people that were in charge of, doing the horrible things to Israel have been the ones that have been in control of the information, of the history. So therefore, they write the history in a certain way in order to elevate themselves and to pretty much make the whole world forget about us as a people. Remember, to them, we're just slaves. We have no history. We've accomplished nothing. But see, we know through the scriptures and other, historical texts that they learned everything from our people. They learned everything from our posterity, and they still are learning everything from us even today. Now, they took our heritage and gave it to another. So they could end up making it seem like these two Gentile nations are going at it, and they've been going at it for thousands of years. They want to make it seem like the Israelis and the Arabs have been mortal enemies from time immemorial. That is all part of this whole narrative of taking Israel out of the equation. Psalms 83, everyone coming together against the nation. See, they want to make it sound like this is a future prophecy, that all the nations are going to come against Ish. But see, all nations have already come against the Israelites. They've already made a pact. That's why no one, even when the truth comes out, they say nothing. They're quiet. You might get a comment here, a comment there. It'll say, "Oh, that's not right. That's not true." But you get no receipts. Opinions mean nothing. Your opinion means nothing. My opinion means nothing. Facts and the fulfillment of what is written, that's all that matters. That's why I tell everyone all the time, study for yourself. Don't just take what I say, study it out for yourself. Now, I had mentioned that in the Catholic encyclopedia, they told you to, when you look up the word more, that says see Arabs. Now, see, the Moors have been the mortal enemies of the Spanish. They were in charge of Spain for hundreds of years. They were the ones that brought civility and knowledge and understanding to that region. And after they took the Moors down in 1492, they just pretty much wanted to erase them out of history. They don't want people to realize that everything that you see in this, in Spain and all these European countries over there was all how they benefited and copied the information from the Moors. So, like we always say, Israel could be anyone but us. You're going to see an example of that right now. The Moors were the so-called Negroes, but they've gone out of their way to change the whole definition of what a Moor is. Now, I had mentioned that the Catholic encyclopedia said when you go to the word Moor, it says see Arab. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. It's worse than that. Okay? But I'll show you both books because I'm reading so many books, I got them confused. So I'm going to show you both right now. In the Catholic encyclopedia, I'm saying there's like 16 volumes of huge books. You would think, there would be a lot of information on the word Moor, considering the fact that these people, brought knowledge and understanding to that region, and that's where these people got their information from. And they were in battle with them, and eventually they took them down, and and they regained the land. So let's take a look here. The Catholic Encyclopedia, first edition, 1907. Look up the word Moor. Moor. There's nothing here about the Moors. Absolutely nothing. So see, to them, they want to hide that information. So they don't even talk about the Moors. I mean, you couldn't even get like a paragraph. Couldn't get a couple paragraphs. Couldn't have got a page. You got nothing on the Moors. Now, see, if you don't read much and you just listen to the priests and the pastors, this is what they think of the Moors. But see, when it's your duty and your aim to write certain people out of history, you're going to do things like this. You're going to just hide these people, hide their accomplishments, and not even talk about them, not even acknowledge them. So just because the Catholic Church here has decided to not talk about the Moors, does that mean they didn't exist? Does that mean they weren't important? Or that just means that they weren't important to them? They're not important enough for them to be able to explain anything. Because once you start to look up things, all of their lies begin to unravel. So they didn't even talk about them here. So this was a book here that I was into, the Encyclopedia of Occultism by Lewis Spence. Now I looked at the word Moor here. And it says Moors, see Arabs. Now see, they're making you do some work. You got to go to one word here. You're looking for Moors. You find right here. They make you go back to another area of the book to find out, try to get some information on the Moors. And they're directing you to the Arabs. So if you haven't done any research, you haven't done it, you don't really look very much, you're going to think that the Moors are Arabs or North Africans. Because if you go to Wikipedia and you look up, you just go to Google and you look up Moor. Let's see what I've already done this before, but let's check it out again. I'm going to go to Google. I'm going to look up Moor. They give me a definition. They're talking about tying something up, but hold on real fast. Tying up a boat like to a dock. Moors. So for this, you look it up, you put Moors, Moors. First thing that pops up is Moors is a term generally used by Europeans to describe the Muslim people of North Africa and the Iberian Peninsula during the Middle Ages. Okay? It says between 711 CE and 1492 CE, Muslim people of African descent controlled parts of Iberia, which consist of modern day Spain and Portugal. So, and you know, Muslims today, they're always talking about Arabs. You know what I'm saying? That's what they show a lot of. They show a lot of the pictures and everything else as well about the Moors and them being Arabs. And if you actually look at movies, the Assassin's Creed movie, where they were looking for the seed of Adam, and the guy was in Granada, and the guy who they showed up was there, they had him represented as an Arab, because that's what they want to push. They want to push the Arabs as being the ones who had this, you know, advanced civilization, that they were the Moors. But they mess up at times, like when they used to that old Robin Hood movie from the 90s, and they had a black man playing the Moor. You know what I'm saying? So let's take a look here. So you go to the Arabs, and it says the heyday of occultism among the Arab race was reached at the epoch when that division of them, known as the Moors, established their empire in the Spanish Peninsula. So here we are. Now we're talking about, you know, the Moors being the Arabs. So again, we first emerged from cloud and shadow into a precise and definite region in the 8th century, when the Arabian mystic revived the dreams and speculations of the alchemists and discovered some important secrets. Okay? So again, they're going to go into more and more information here, but they're going to talk about the Moors being Arabs or North Africa, because that's what they want to do. They have written you out of history. They have written your greatness out of history. So when you go to the older dictionaries, look, a lot of these older books, in like the 1700, 1800, are referring to this guy's dictionary. So when they're using certain words, they'll refer to Samuel Johnson's dictionary. They're not using the same terminology that you see today. They're using different terminology. You know, they weren't trying to hide the fact that the Moors were the so-called Negroes back then. But see, now that we've come to the end of the reign of the Gentiles and the priesthood of Mahan, now it's time to start hiding all these facts, hiding who's who, hiding what we've done, hiding the fact that we're going to have to pay for the things that we've done. So again, this dictionary here is from 1781. So you look up the word Moor, right there, closer to in the middle, top right there. Okay, got a marsh, and a log, a tract of low and watery ground, a Negro, a blackamoor. So here, a Moor is a so-called Negro, a blackamoor. And then you go over here to blackamoor, towards the bottom, it says a Negro. So again, you can see how the newer books are manipulated, how the newer information is just going to give you basis for their narrative. Moors aren't Negroes. Moors are North Africans, because you got to be able to explain away that black skin in those pictures, and they're Arabs. You see what I'm saying? And then that's why all of a sudden today you've got people, you know, the Muslim and Arab nations against everyone else, against the European nations, because they want to push that whole narrative, and they want to be able to point to history and say, look, this has been going on forever. Arabs and North Africans have been, you know, at odds with the Europeans, and, you know, forever, and this goes all the way back to 1492 and before. You know, that's what they want to push, and that's what they've been pushing. That's how we've got pretty much just taken out of history altogether. That's why they gave us, you know, the history of being slaves and nothing more. And we have no history, but we have the richest history. We have the history that the whole world has stolen for themselves. But with their narrative and the way they break things down, this is now possible. It's now possible to push these two groups against each other and acting like that's how it's always been. and that we have no part in anything. Remember, never forget 9/11, because they want you to always think about, like, when you're looking at these are things that have been happening forever. These things have been happening for hundreds and hundreds of years. The Arabs and the Europeans going back and forth, and but it's like you've taken the identity of a certain people and given it to another in order to push a narrative. So I just wanted to be able to bring you the information, see, and bring the receipt so you can see for yourself this information. You can see how we were defined in the 1700s and how that's changed today. Now you understand, you can see the prophecies of the scriptures being fulfilled. Just like it said in Jeremiah 17:4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. Some of our brethren weren't over here. Some of them were. So they got brought over here. Some of them were already here, got taken back over to Spain. Some were, different parts of the Americas, got moved to different parts of the Americas, got moved to the islands. That's how you serve in a land that you don't know about. It doesn't take very long to move you to another land and then enslave you there. Okay? For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. Most High made us pay. But he also, we talked about in the book of Enoch. He said that, I'm going to tell you which ones you can and can't kill. But he told the angels to keep track, because they're going to kill way more than they were supposed to. But see, when you understand these things and you see how they've already been, fulfilled, when you go to scriptures like Psalms 83, and the Most High tells you what they're going to do, you can see how they did it. Psalms 83, verse 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel by changing definitions, changing who's who, changing which land is this person's and that person's. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation. Yeah, you're just Negroes, you're slaves, you don't have a history. That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Give their great history to another group. Give their history to the Arabs. Give their history to the North Africans. When you go to books like Second Esdras 16 and 73, they're letting you know that you're not going to know who you are. The world's not going to know who you are. It says, then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. People are not going to know who the real chosen are until the very end. You're not going to know, because that's all part of prophecy. Romans 11:25. For I would not, brethren, that ye should be ignorant of this mystery, lest ye should be wise in your own conceits, that blindness in part is happened to Israel, until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in. We were blinded to who we were. Not on accident, it was on purpose. 26. And so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written, there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob. And there's many, many more. We can go into many more scriptures, but that's plenty. You can see how they've changed it. They don't talk about the Moors in the Catholic encyclopedia, and the other Lewis Spence encyclopedia, they tell you to see the Arabs, and then they attribute all those great accomplishments to the Arabs. And then you go to the dictionary from 1781, it tells you that the Moors are Negroes. So who's lying? Who has an incentive to lie? Who has the power to push their lies? That's now up to you to study out and to study to show thyself approved. All praise is the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledge man to the earthly mother. Who was wisdom? Who was the Holy Spirit? Acknowledge it. Yahweh Shai. Shalom.